This is Agent CLI, a local terminal agent that plans, builds, verifies its own work, and keeps evidence for all of it. Here, starting from an empty folder, a Git repo was set up first and asked to build a small weather app in 3 languages. First, it wants to check the weather API's current docs rather than trust its memory. Anything that leaves the machine has to be approved. A separate researcher agent runs the searches in its own context and hands back short source-backed findings with the URLs behind them. This is a planning process, a task graph, not a to-do list. Each task names the project it touches and what has to pass before the next one runs. Approving it binds the exact contents of that plan. Change a task later and the approve isn't validated. The human stays in the loop. Now it builds. Everything from here is agent working autonomously. The human only answers the approvals. The independent pieces are built as parallel tasks, each in its own isolated Git worktree, so they can never step on each other. This is a live view of those tasks running side by side. The harness supervises each one and integrates the results. Installing dependencies runs third-party code, so the harness composes the command from the log file itself and asks before running it. Setting up the database is not undoable, so migrate and seed are asked every single time, never granted for the session. Verification is typed. A model names the check kind, the harness names the command. A green check means it genuinely ran and exit clean. It starts both servers and manage previews, the Node API and the web dashboard, and waits for each to actually answer before trusting it. Built and running, a web dashboard, a cat king API, and a Go command line tool, 1 workspace, 3 tool chains. This is the attributed diff of everything that changed, with the per file verdict of which files a check actually covered. The same harness does non-coding work too. Here it writes a project overview as a docs and a PDF. It renders and validates the structure by parsing them back, and then actually looks at the PDF pages before calling the document done. Before it can finish, every declared check has to be green and the review gate satisfied. Completion is earned from evidence, not claimed. The terminal died mid-run, so this is the same session resumed. The plan, the evidence, and the spent buckets all survived. The plan was amended mid-build, which invalidates its approval. The harness blocks execution on and amend plan until the human reapproves it. Here is the agent proposes waiving the review task, with it written on record, and approval is the user's to give on camera. One item still blocks acceptance. The agent on recorded, I stopped and need you. The version has no way to clear it, and the game refuses to bury it. So the user records a partial acceptance, the documented override. The unfinished item goes into the handle by name, not under the rug. The commit is the user's own. The model can commit for you. That single fact is that makes publishing possible without handing over the keys. Finally, delivery. Reading the remote and changing 1 or 2 different permissions here, and the harness will not be talked out of. It inspects the empty repository first, with the counts would act and the remote actually holds, before proposing to change anything. Each public is on approval, the branch, the tag, and the release, pinned to the yes commit that was observed, verified afterwards. And it rereads the remote to prove it. Main, the v1 tag, and the GitHub release all live on a repository that started empty. This is the app it built, running for real. The doc dashboard saves its current conditions and a 7-day outlook. The forecast with the hand-drawn spark lines from an empty folder to a verified published working application with evidence for every step.